Hey guys, it's Kaz here, and today I'm doing the social media book tag. The original of this came out many moons ago, so it doesn't actually exist anymore, but I was tagged by the red-headed reader, and Sasha actually added a couple of questions to the end as well, so she's kind of a little bit the original, but just them last two. So let's just get into it. So first up we have Twitter, your favourite short book, under 200 or 300 pages, so I've gone one for each. Under 300 pages, I've gone for The Expedition by Bia Uzma. This is a non-fiction story about an expedition that went missing, and then 33 years later their bodies were found, but they were found with enough ammo and clothing and food and water and everything to have survived, and it's a big mystery on why they died. And this is about Bia, like many years later, trying to figure out the mystery, and it's really interesting. And then under 200 pages, I have The Glass House by Suki Fleet. This is a book about a boy who is not very sociable. He's a little bit, you know, over here away from everybody, doesn't really talk to people, doesn't really interact with people. And then a new boy, is he a new boy or is he just a boy? He starts talking to him, and then there's a relationship happens, and it's really cute, but also it's a really harrowing book because he's dealing with a lot of stuff, and it's really good, and I can't explain it right now here. I can't. It's really good though. Next up is Facebook, and the question for this is a book that everyone pressures you to read. Fun fact actually, when Facebook started to become a big thing, me and my friend Sam, we were adamant we weren't going to go on Facebook. We were like, we all have MySpace, why are we going to this new one? What's the point? And all of our friends made a group on Facebook that was like, get Kaz and Sam onto Facebook. And then we said if they got a certain amount of people joining it, then we would. So we were kind of pressured to get onto there. So this question is very apt. I don't necessarily have a book that someone pressured me, or loads of people pressured me to read. But I guess I read The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins because it's such a massive popular series. I read it after all of the films were out, so I was quite late to the game. So I guess it kind of works for that. I wasn't pressured to read it, nobody forced me to, but the only reason I picked it up was because of how massive it was, and I wanted to see what it was all about. And it was a good time because this book is really good. Everyone knows what The Hunger Games is about. It's about games where people go and then one person lives and everybody else dies, and a lot more. Next up we have Tumblr, which is a book you read before it was cool. And if you know anything about me, you will know that I do not read books before people because I'm a cheap ass and I buy things secondhand, and I buy things ages after they've come out, and I don't buy new releases very often. So, you know, is this something I can answer? I had a thought about it. That's not how English works. I had to think about it. And I thought perhaps Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I started reading it online on the online comic, so does that count? I must have found it out because somebody mentioned it though, so obviously I wasn't the first person to read it. But that's the best you're getting from me, Heartstopper. I read it when it was an online comic, and now it's this as well. Heartstopper is about two boys, a meet cute, fall in love life, coming of age, what's that other word I'm looking for? I like how I'm clicking, but my brain is like, I'm not actually thinking about anything. Slice of life is the word I was looking for. Next up is MySpace, a book that you can't remember if you liked or didn't like, which I feel like has nothing to do with MySpace, but there we go. And this one's kind of hard, but I feel like there's a few books that I've read and then given a rating to, and then later on given a less rating to, so I guess that kind of works in this context. For example, The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, I'm pretty sure I gave it 4 stars to begin with on Goodreads, but the more I thought about it, I was like, that book had amazing descriptions, but the storyline was boring as fuck, so I think I put it down to 3. So it's kind of like, did I enjoy it more? Do I just remember the stuff that I didn't enjoy? If I read it again, maybe would I like it more or less, or what, or whatever? I don't know. I have similar feelings with Red, White and Royal Blue as well by Casey McQuiston. I don't know whether, I don't know, I gave it a 4 star to begin with, but again, 3.5 is 3. I really didn't like the writing style, so I mean, I enjoyed the concept, I enjoyed the story, but the writing style was so hard to get into because the tense it was written in was really weird. So yeah, does that count as well maybe, perhaps? Who knows? I mean, 100% for sure it was definitely overhyped. It's not as good as everyone says it is. So maybe that's also part of the reason why I feel like maybe I disliked it more than I thought I disliked it. Maybe it's just because everyone likes it so much more than me that makes me think maybe I didn't like it. I did like it, but maybe, I don't know, it's hard. We're about halfway through, so let's head over to one of our sponsors and then I shall be back. I've just walked into the room and that is just there for no reason. Why? Why are you on there? What are you doing? Just chilling. Okay. Next up we have Instagram, a book with a beautiful cover. There are so many different books and different types of beautiful covers, but I know for a fact that I definitely picked up this book, Stag's Run by Zaya Feli, because of how gorgeous the cover is. I originally got this as a free book on Kindle and then I read it and really liked it, so I bought the rest of the series, which is also pretty damn beautiful. This is the second book. And this is the third book. And all of them were illustrated by Zaya Feli as well, which, I mean, authors that can write and draw, I hate, because who gave you the right to have that much talent? Maggie Stiefvater, I'm also talking to you. Next up is YouTube, a book you think should be turned into a movie. And for that one I'm going for You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. I just think this would make a great, you know, them Netflix movies where it's a rom-com that's definitely based off a book because they have no ideas of themselves. I think this would do really well in that whole genre. And I would love to watch it. This is about a girl who's running for prom queen because you get a scholarship for it and she needs the money to get into uni. And it's really cute. Just remembered I totally didn't say what the Ironbreakers trilogy is about. But you know, we're past that, so you just have to deal with it. Google it. Goodreads it. Talking about Goodreads, the next up is Goodreads, a book you would recommend to everybody. This one, in terms of just books, it's hard to say because people like different genres, blah 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 blah. But I mean, realistically, there is a 100% chance that I will recommend my sister's books to everybody because they're great and it's my sister and they're great and you should read them. So yeah. They're all fantasy. This one is like a Pokemon type place and monster catching and stuff. And then this one is this cool, all these different people with different powers and there's a different race coming to get them and take over their world and they have to fight them. And this one over here is just a little novella. It's like a paranormal romance type thing, which is really good and the ending is twisty as fuck. So read them. Next up we have Skype, a book with characters you would love to talk to, not just read about, and obviously The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I would love to be part of the Raven gang, the Gangsy as people call it sometimes. They just seem like a really fun time and I want to be there looking for the dead Welsh king. This is about a bunch of people, a group of boys looking for a dead Welsh king, and then a girl that is a psychic. Well, she isn't a psychic, she lives with loads of psychics, but then she isn't, and then fun stuff ensues. Next up we have Snapchat, a book that was pretty on the outside but ugly on the inside. I don't necessarily think it was ugly, but if you watch my wrap up for March, Final Girls by Riley Sager just wasn't it for what I wanted. The book's beautiful, it's really pretty, you know, all that jazz, but the inside's just average, boring. 3 stars. That. Bright pink and black look so nice together though. This is about some final girls that weren't killed by serial killers, and then you'd expect it to be really fun, but then it isn't, it's boring. That's what it's about. Nothing happens for the first half of the book. And then last but not least we have Pinterest, a book that taught you something. So for that one I'm going with The Secret Barrister by Anonymous. This is all about UK law, being a barrister in the UK, and it taught me a lot because I didn't really know much about this. It's interesting. Non-fiction teaches you a lot about stuff. Who knew? Yeah, it's just a real barrister writing about their experiences and real stuff and the good stuff and the bad stuff about being a barrister in the UK. Yeah, that's what it's about. So there we go, that was the social media book tag, if that was what the title is. I think it is. Shall I tag some people? I don't know. It's a very old tag, so perhaps people have missed it because they weren't there. I've never heard of it, even though it's old, so do it if you want to do it. You're tagged. If you want to do it, do it. I'm telling you, do it. Do it. But yeah, let me know down below any thoughts, any opinions, anything, say some words, answer a question, comment on one of my answers of the question, say some words down below, I'll reply. Good times. And if this is your first video by me and you enjoy it, then please check out some of the others. And if you continue to enjoy, then please subscribe, that'd be awesome. Anyway guys, I'll see you in a few days with another video. Bye. Look, look. Wonderful. Almost as wonderful as you. Good lad.